Whoa. I don't know what I did. I don't know. Done some weird shit and brushed my hair. And my phone started recording. Maybe that's what the hell happened to me before those times it accidentally started recording. Maybe I don't know. I had to fucking figure that shit out. I guess if I do something a certain way, it just starts on its own. Whatever. We're good. It's been about a week since I made a video again. Not really. I made a couple videos and trashed them because they had, honestly, they just had personal stuff in them. You know, I kind of come to a point, realization or something. I don't have to talk about all my fucking personal experiences in life and everything. I don't have to do that. For one, that's impossible for me to explain every fucking little thing that I go through. Unless I talked every single day, in which case people aren't going to follow that and keep up with all that anyways. They're not that interested in me. I don't blame you. I wouldn't be that fucking interested in me either. You got your own fucking life to live. Go live your life. But listen to me right now. I'm going to try to watch my cussing. Went and had dinner. Went and had dinner with Beth this evening. I hope she doesn't mind me using her name. Nobody knows her. I ain't going to use her last name. A woman that I talk to, sell wood to and stuff. And I always have good talks with her. I like talking with her. She's very, very in her feminine state. And a very intuitive woman. She can just really feel into the energy, which makes sense. She danced. I guess she danced for all of her life, pretty much 40 years or something. She taught dance and stuff. So she's very, very in that feminine, free-flowing state of being able to feel into the energy and stuff around her. I'm not even sure that she's entirely aware of it. You know, me, I stand back from a standoff point and observe and notice it. Notice how she is with me and around other people. But because of that, I love talking with her. I get that feminine standpoint of things, and she has a very deep understanding and listens carefully. So she hears what I'm actually saying. She can hear and feel the energy coming off of me and get the true meaning of what I'm trying to express, you know. Many people, you try to talk to them, they don't have that ability. They can't hear what you're actually trying to say to them. They kind of hear what the fuck they want to hear, you know. A word is just a word. We create attachments to words. We attach a word to a specific definition or meaning. In which, depending on who you're talking to, you know, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. To me, that's the more in the masculine state of things, where men break things down. We put solid definition on certain words, and we have completely closed boundaries around things. There is no openness. There is no vulnerability. An openness is a vulnerability. So when you place a solid definition on a word and you say, this is the meaning of this word, and then you describe it, then that limits that word to that specific meaning, that definition. We used to live life that way. That's how we lived life. By those very strict, specific definitions and laws and rules, okay? And this was coming from the masculine side of life. So the Father, the Bible, good old Holy Bible there. That is a masculine book. talks about God the Father. Okay, it doesn't talk about God the woman, the feminine, the mother. Okay, it talks about God the Father. The mother is very much a real thing too. That feminine side. Um, See, the feminine side is more open. They have that, they carry that openness around with them, and they are able to feel into the energy that is coming from somebody's words. Because you see, we're coming from a time back in the day where men and women, we weren't quite so expressive with our emotions. Okay, with our emotions and our body language and stuff. People didn't used to throw their body language around and their emotions and have all this different slang and all this different chaotic shit that we have in the world today. Free speech. And when I say free speech, I mean like slang. Like everybody has their own meanings on words and stuff. And it's not that anybody does that on purpose or anything. It's just a natural way of life. It's just the way life grows and develops, just like a tree. It grows and it branches out, and all the branches do their own little thing there. Okay, well, as a country, we started off as we come from one place, the old country, and we all come here together and we learn English. And in the beginning, when you're learning something, you learn it the absolute correct, proper way in a very straight, orderly, structured line. And so everybody is on the exact same page. But then as time goes on, that straight line structure begins to branch out, just like a baby tree. When it first comes up, it's just one single stem and it comes up. Until it gets big enough, it gets to a point where it splits, okay? And then I'll have two. Or I'll have a main stem, and then I'll have two branches come off or something. So it branches. Communication is the same way. Words and everything work the same way. So we learned English back in the beginning, but then as time has went on, our English has branched out and has branched out into many, many different genres of English. I know that's not the right word, but you understand what I'm saying, I think. Different genres of music. So we have different slangs, and we have different accents and stuff. And the West Coast may have a completely opposite, different meaning for a word that the East Coast has. It may use the same words there and have complete opposite meanings for it. Okay. And that is chaos. The feminine side of life is really, we've entered into a very feminine energy and nature here in our country and everything that is going on. And that is one reason, that's where a lot of the chaos and confusion comes in. So I just watched a video about a woman, about these abortion laws. A woman talking about in Texas how she suffered physical problems and stuff from not being able to get an abortion when she actually needed one. She needed one because she was in the second trimester of pregnancy. Her bladder had broke, okay, and there was no hope for the child to live or survive through that. This child could not survive. Her bladder was, I forget the details, it said something ruptured in there. So the fetus had no home. It had no way of receiving nutrients and everything. It was bound for death. And they would not abort the fetus. They would not remove the fetus because it still had a heartbeat. Okay, maybe it did have a heartbeat, but it's in there drowning, so to speak, suffocating. All right, it is dying. And in the process, it caused her significant health risk, and she actually was in ICU, I think she said, or something. She was in the hospital for 3 days where she suffered from illness and stuff. Okay, so it's a very, very risky situation where the fetus could have been removed and she could have avoided risks. But by leaving a fetus in there and everything, is actually like a life and death situation. She could easily catch, I forget what they said, get sick. Like that situation, whatever it is, that is, she has a vulnerability inside of her. That's not right. That's women used to die from pregnancy issues and stuff. Okay, so that's a real thing. Um, so these laws are kind of bullshit. But what I'm getting at here is the confusion. A lot of this confusion, this chaos, and everything going on in the country is a lack of understanding for one another. We've lost understanding for each other. Some people are kind of still living by the old ways. By this is the law, this is the word, this is the definition, and they're living in that closed bubble of things. But then you have there's modern day people, the feminine, the chaos, the feminine people who have entered up into the feminine side of life. Some people are holding desperately onto that masculine, closed off, that enclosed structure, because that's a bubble of protection that they don't want to get outside of it. It's safe in there. You can't really blame them, but at the same time, it's an illusion. That's an illusion. There's always a vulnerability somewhere, always. And if you choose to stay in that bubble while everybody else is moving forward, you are hindering the growth of life, the grand big picture of life. So God, okay, you go hindering God, and you're going to get run over. You're going to get cut down. Life will cut you down, or you'll cut yourself down. Okay. If you're getting in the way, if you just choose to live those old ways, and you just keep to yourself, you and people you're around, a community, that's how y'all want to live, fine. The only time it really matters is when you go trying to force your ways onto other people. So anyways, there's all this confusion and stuff, chaos with the laws. We have lost clear definition, not just with words, but with relationships, with proper etiquette amongst men and women. See, it used to be clearly defined as to how men should act and how women should act. It is not clearly defined at all anymore. There are no defining rules of engagement for men and women. It's just a free-for-all. You go out and you just be yourself, and you find somebody else that you just fit with, and you just naturally fuck together. I don't know. It's a mess. Really and truly is what it is. It's a chaotic mess. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's a mess. It is chaos that we need to find order inside of. We need to find the order in there. We're so caught up in all the chaos and the confusion. We're destroying ourselves, making things really hard for ourselves. So, personally, I feel like we need to bring order back into the chaos. There is order always there, but when you ignore the order and pretend like it's not there, that is when you experience suffering. Okay, because order is going to be there no matter what. When you ignore it and pretend like it's not there, order becomes your suffering. Okay, so it's kind of like, let's see. I don't know. I work construction, so I got a stove right here behind me. So that stove right there is hot. Okay, I know that stove is hot. That is like an order. Okay, that is a law. I have wood in the stove, and I have fire in there for the purpose of heating my house. So that is a natural law. It is hot. And if you don't believe me, come touch it. It will burn you. If you ignore that law, you touch it, you're going to get burned. There are people these days that maybe have the ability to break. I'm not going to say break those laws. They don't have the ability to break the laws, but they what we call magic and shit. Spiritual gifts and abilities, God-given gifts and abilities. So, God says, you don't test God. You don't test the laws of life, okay? So, like, for me, just to walk over here and put my hand on the stove, just be like, oh, it's not going to burn me. Let's see. Let's see if it burns me. Let me test it, Probably going to get fucking burnt. My damn phone keeps falling over on my head. But I'm not saying it's impossible, like, I don't know. I've seen a guy pick up fucking charcoals out of the damn fire and hold them and not get burned. So, shit like that happens. That's called an act of God. Okay? That's a lot of that is the power of your mind. That gets into complex things. For the most part, don't touch the fucking stove. It's going to burn you. That is a law. If you ignore that law, you're going to get hurt. You're going to experience suffering. That law will turn into your suffering. So if you ignore the law and you go touch the stove anyways, it's going to burn you and then you're going to suffer. The suffering is the law. And it's telling you, don't do this. Don't do that. You're going to get hurt. Okay? So these days, we've really entered into this feminine state of being where we like to pretend that anything is possible. Well, anything is possible. But that doesn't mean anything is possible for you at this current moment. Okay? Now, maybe you can learn how to do that. There are monks and there are certain people in the world who learn to walk on coals. But they don't just snap their fingers and walk on coals. They don't say, oh, I believe I can walk on coals and then just do it. Okay? That happens like once in a fucking blue moon. That's called a miracle. Okay? Or magic or something like that. Okay? Your genuine fucking person's not going to do that. They're going to walk on coals and they're not going to make it very far, first off, because the pain is just going to crumple the strength in their legs. They're either going to jump out of the fucking coals or scream and holler. Buddy, that's a goddamn pain that I just don't want to experience. The soles of your fucking feet being burned off. So that's a law. And maybe you can break that law, but you're not going to break that law without suffering. And you're not going to break that law for no reason, just to do it for no reason, just because you want to. God is not going to bless you a miracle just because. Okay? There's got to be a godly reason for God to bless you a miracle, for you to just be able to walk on coals without burning your feet. Okay? So I'm not going to say I'm not going to say any laws are written in stone, black and white, solid, last hold up in every situation, because everything can be bent or twisted or manipulated in some way or another. Everything can be opened and shaped and changed. But for the most part, it is not good to test the laws. You should not test the law. You test the law and you got him get burned. You end up in fucking jail or prison or something. Well, whose fault was that? Maybe the laws are stupid. And that's a problem. That's an issue with today's laws. That's a lot of the problem today, is all the chaos and confusion. We have no clear definition on our laws. Yet at the same time, here we are making black and white laws. So these laws on the abortion say that the fetus cannot be aborted if there's a heartbeat. All right. Well, genuinely, you would say, yeah, that applies. Just hearing that and not really knowing anything about pregnancies and some of the complications that come along with pregnancy, you would say, oh, well, that makes sense. Sure, it's got a heartbeat. It's alive. You should leave it alone. Give it a chance. But what happens in a situation like we just talked about, where in the second, what's it called, trimester, second stage of fucking pregnancy, okay, where the water ruptures and the baby has no chance of living, but yet they still won't do an abortion until the heart stops beating. So you're putting the fetus is already the fetus's life is already at risk, and now the woman's life is at risk as well. The fetus is done, no chance for survival. Now the woman's life is also at risk. So instead of goddamn removing the fetus and at least guaranteeing her life, or you can never guarantee anything could happen, but significantly increasing the chances of her life and her health. No, they left it in there because of black and white bullshit laws. That ain't right. That ain't good. Hey, that's piss poor judgment on behalf of the doctors, as well as the laws that were made, whoever the fucking lawmakers were. The doctors, in my opinion, should have fucking done the right thing, regardless of what the fuck the law says. See, that's why I don't like. I got little use for the fucking law. I need to work on my language, my cussing. Okay, this woman, she told me she don't like the. I like to cuss. I like to cuss, so I'm going to cuss a little bit. She's just gonna have to, I don't know, be okay with that. But I am going to try to work it out a little bit. Seems to always, I've tried this before, and then it always comes back to me. I like cussing, man. I don't know. She's old school. She's old school. See, she seems to think that cussing is a limitation on your intelligence. But really, it's not. It's not. I know this, and most modern day people know this. Some of your just smartest people of today, they cuss. Some of your most intelligent people these days cuss. Your younger people and stuff. Why? Just because. Why not? Because we lost definitions of all our words. The vocabulary and the definitions that we used to have on words it's gone. It does not apply to this modern day society the way that it used to. Okay, so we've entered into a place of chaos. So cussing, a cuss word, when I say the word fuck, you don't know. The only way for you to understand the meaning of that word is to feel into the energy of it. You have to feel the energy of the word. You can't just go based off of what the word itself is. You have to feel the energy of the word. Okay? As I could say fuck you, and I could say it in a loving manner, and how it could mean I love you. Okay? Or I could say, go fuck yourself. Fuck you, you piece of shit. Get the fuck out of here, you fuck. Yeah. And you're going to have to pick up on the meaning of the word, the attitude that comes with the word, the body language, the emotions and stuff. Okay, so this is a difference between old-timey ways and new modern ways, a transition that we're going through, where things are becoming more lively, so to speak. All right. I would say more lively in a visual sense. Life is no greater or less than it ever was before, people used to sit down and have very lively conversations, and with their words, and they were actually able to do that with a vast vocabulary of words because they had clear definition on their words. These days, we don't have quite such a vast vocabulary of words that we use, but we have a very vast emotional spectrum that we apply into the words and body language and stuff. Okay, so we're much more moving and emotional people these days, whereas we used to be much more mental. Life used to be tougher on us. When life's tough, you don't fucking run around acting like a goddamn little fool, like a kid everywhere you go. you learn to use this motherfucker a lot more than, I ain't gonna say more than this, but in a way, yeah, kind of more than this. Because when life is hard and you're ain't got no goddamn food and stuff, you need to put food on the table to feed yourself, to feed your kids. You got to pay the bills, and you're scrounging by just barely to pay bills and get by. You don't have the ability to fucking to go after what this thing wants. You're not gonna be out here dancing, lollygagging, and fucking uh, playing goddamn footloose and shit. You know, I don't know. You know. So, you know, we're coming from a very masculine period where men went off and fought wars, and every choice you made could be life or death choice, you know, especially think back when we first settled this land. People that pioneered in here, every choice they made was life or death, you know. And West Virginia, here where I live, is a very unique place because there are people that come in here and they're kind of like pioneers. It's about as close as you can get it to modern day pioneering, you know. They come in here from other places and they move into the mountains and they make a living. They survive off the land or something. There's some people that still do that around here. Okay, some people have very, very old fashioned ways of living here. That's one thing that makes this place so beautiful is the wide spectrum of people that we have living around here. Have everything from up to modern day goddamn libtards and spoiled brats and shit downtown out in Lewisburg in the city, what we call the city, our little city here, and it's very liberal. And I mean, I like those people too. I like a lot of liberal damn people. I really do. They got a lot of good ways about them. Got a lot of ignorance about them too. But both sides have ignorance about them. Republicans got a lot of spiritual ignorance about them. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're the ones that talk about God the most, preach about Christ and God and the Bible and this and that. Blah, 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 blah. They talk about it the most, and they understand it the least. Like it's. Liberal people have a far more, I'm not going to say godly way of living, but a Christian way of living, a Christ-like lifestyle, attitude, behaviors that they carry with them than most Republicans. Most Republicans are very hard, judgmental assholes. They're like Old Testament God. Liberals and Democrats are more modern, Christ, compassionate, understanding people. But they're also a lot more, they're kind of fucking helpless. A lot of them are spoiled and think that things are handed out for free. And not all of them, though. Maybe those are the liberals. I know some Democrats that hell, they work damn hard. They're hard-working ass people. Very sensible people. I love talking with them. And I can actually have deep, meaningful conversation with them. Spiritual conversations and talks. That is something I cannot fucking do with Republicans. The Republicans that I know, the only thing you could talk about with them and get deep into it is maybe politics. Because a lot of them keep up with politics. I'm sorry. Politics is corrupted as fuck. Everybody knows that. They all know it too. But that's about the only damn thing you can get into a deep conversation with them about. You can't get into it. I haven't found any Republicans that I can get into a deep conversation about the Bible with. Or if I do, they're always those closed-minded. They're always closed-minded fucking types of people. You can't have an open talk about it, discussion. They're like, oh, I know what I'm talking about, and that's all there is to it. They're not open for discussion at all. They're not open for new information, for growth and development, spiritual growth and development. They are closed off, buddy. They have locked themselves in the Garden of Eden, which is a fucking illusion. Let me tell you that right now. The Garden of Eden is a paradise. Okay, all you fucking Republicans, you talk about the liberal fucks and the Democrats. They say all these people, the liberals that want a utopia, they imagine this utopia happening in life. And y'all, so many Republicans I know, they'll look at them like they're a bunch of fucking idiots. There's no such thing as a utopia. But yet here you are creating your own fucking utopia in your own in your belief system. You close your fucking belief system off. Don't listen to a goddamn thing nobody else has to say. And you create your own Garden of Eden in there. You refuse to listen to the serpent, if you go by the Bible, but you refuse to listen to the truth, facts, evidence, truth, any outside viewpoint of your own. Okay, I'm sorry if you. That's an illusion. That's fake. That's just as fake and fucked up as the utopia that the liberal idiots are shooting for. Okay, neither one of them are real, and they're not going to be. Life is push and pull, give and take. It is a balance between the two. The only utopia that I could think of, that I know of, and I experienced it, is a perfect acceptance of the two energies, the push and pull, the God and evil, the positive and negative. It is a perfect balance and acceptance of the two. You're not going to eliminate one or the other. It would be like trying to eliminate dark or trying to eliminate the light. Both of those, either one of those, is going to have detrimental effects to life. It's going to be destructive to life. Anything that's destructive to life is what I guess the Bible calls evil. See, there's another one of those tricky words there. It does not have the word evil and the word God. They have never had a perfectly clear definition on them of what they are. The only way to understand those words is literally through intuitive feeling, through understanding. You can. It's impossible. It is impossible to completely, perfectly develop a outright full understanding of these words and to put a definition on them or clear boundaries around them. That's part of the illusion. Part of the illusion, the trick of life. That's one of the answers that will never be answered, or one of the questions or curiosities that I don't think will ever be answered. I don't think it has an answer. I truly don't. Because in one sense, there is an absolute boundary on things, kind of like my skin and my body. It has boundaries. But at the same time, me and myself, my energy, is not bound to anything. And we actually know this. Science is proving this nowadays. My thought, I can have a thought and direct my energy, my thought energy, and direct it at something or somebody, or direct it. I can control it and direct it. And it has influence on the things around me. Your heart energy radiates out from you, and it has influence on the things around you. So if you're walking around with a heart full of love, that is why certain people, you'll attract loving people to you, vibrant people to you. If you're walking around in misery and darkness and depression, you're more apt to attract dark people to you. Okay? I like this. This was a good talk. This was a very good talk. I need to go up and talk to that woman more because she really helps to settle me down, help me find my senses and my wits about me, and she actually brings order into my chaos, she's an old-timey woman, man. That's what they done. Them old women knew how to be women. They knew how to just be women, dude. To bring that, and when I say women, she has a masculine side about her. She is a very balanced and strong, independent woman. But what makes her that way is the fact that she knows who she is. She knows what her vulnerabilities are, her limits and stuff. She knows her weaknesses. It's important for a man. Men have weaknesses too. Ours are just different than women's are. They're on an opposite side of the spectrum here, the perspective of things, you know. Um, our man's weakness is more in his heart, whereas we was just talking about abortion and stuff. So a woman's physical weakness is the fact that she has the physical ability to get pregnant, okay, and she has an open womb or wound. I compare the two things. Two things are about the same, okay. She has an open wound that never closes until she's goes through what's it called, menopause or whatever, whatever it's called when they stop having her period and everything. So then that is no longer really. It's not a open bleeding wound, you know. It may still be an open hole, but it's not a wound anymore. It's not bleeding, and it's not a vulnerability that she is carrying around with her any longer. Okay. So when women go through that, they develop a much more wholesome version of themselves. Okay? Or when they have children, that is also something that allows a woman to develop a masculine side, masculinity in herself, depending on the situation. Now, we have created very protected environments, a country that is very well protected, and all the people inside of it have they have become spoiled. So women these days, they don't develop that masculine side and discipline their children like they should because women are spoiled. And so that allows them to spoil their children so they don't have the need. There's not a necessity. We think there's not a necessity for the discipline. To discipline your children and stuff, but that's our own blindness as a civilization, as a society. We're blind and ignorant. We've been blinded by this spoiled comfort zone that we've created for ourselves. It has blinded us to the reality of life. That when you stop disciplining your children, when you stop instilling that masculine authority, developing that inside yourself, and then protruding it onto your children. Yes, a lot of people would not like that term or the way that sounds, but it's absolutely essential. It's absolutely essential for the proper growth and development within your children, so that they grow up into proper, healthy, strong, dependable adults. The only way to be independent, if you're truly independent, that means you're going to be a very dependable person. Somebody who's not dependable, they are not an independent person. If you're not dependable, somebody can't depend on you. That means somebody's going to have to look out for your ass. You are a dependent. Okay. Had those in the military all the fucking time. I guess I was one of them at some point or another. We're all a dependent at some point or another. We need to look out for one another, but we need to do our best, strive our best to be independent. And the only way to be independent is to be strong. You're not going to raise strong children if you don't instill masculine discipline and order into them. That means women. That means you fucking you develop your authority. You hold authority over your children. Our spoiled ass society these days, I was going to say feministic society. I want to get away from that. I'm tired. I am tired of. I'm tired of feminists. I'm tired of feminist bullshit. So I don't even want to talk about it. I just want to get away from it. Okay. I would say I'm trying to get away from masculine and feminine energy, but I can't get away from that yet because I don't know any other words to better describe it, okay? Women carry an authority, a masculine energy in them as well as men do. And men carry a feminine energy in them. It used to be that we did not, it's always been that way. But the way that we're embodying these energies is changing. So men used to, their feminine used to be their subtle, their gentleness. So strong, masculine men, but they used to be gentlemen. They didn't beat their wives, and I'm not talking about in the 50s and stuff. I'm talking about you going back. You look at proper, old school, proper relationships. Men did not beat their fucking wives. Okay? Good men did not do that. Their feminine side was in the fact that they were actually gentle, caring with their children and their women. Okay? Women had masculine sides where they would be disciplinary with their children, with their little children as little kids. You see, and then we hit the 40s and 50s and 60s where women expected men to come home from work and get on to their fucking kids. A woman would not discipline her child. She would wait for the husband to come home from work to discipline the child. That's bullshit, honey. You have authority in you. That is your child. You are an authoritative figure over your child. You discipline the child, handle the situation so that the man doesn't have to come home and worry about being the bad guy to his child because you couldn't fucking handle the situation and be a proper parent. That ain't no good. That ain't no good. So all those damn old-timey relationships and masculinity and shit gets a very bad rap. It's not the way it actually was in the majority of homes. That's not the way good, proper, godly, masculine men behave. Okay, back then or in modern day times, that's not how men behave. Godly men, good, proper men who are in touch with themselves, their masculine and feminine sides, are going to they're going to treat a woman properly. Okay, I'm not going to say it doesn't mean that he's never going to be hard on you. Yeah, he might fucking be hard on you, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're going to be hard on him. Women are hard on men. Y'all act like y'all aren't hard on men and shit. Look, a man might be physically hard on you or something. Is he might raise his voice. He might cuss a little. He's not going to physically beat. He might physically beat you, but God damn it, for the vast, I don't know any men that beat on their women. I don't. I don't know any men these days that beat on women. He's a fool if he does, because I guarantee you right around the corner is another man who will beat his ass if they find out about it. It just doesn't, I'm not saying it doesn't happen nowhere. Okay. It's happened since the beginning of time and it'll happen till the end of time in certain situations. But genuinely, it does not happen, especially these days. Men are much softer and gentler because of boys and girls growing up and seeing their father beat on their mother or something. We learn not to do that. We don't like that. It hurt the children. And then the children grow up and sometimes they act out and do the same thing, but oftentimes they don't. They go away from it because they know it's damaging, it's destructive. And we work our way away from it. We have worked our way away from that. What's going on these days is mostly what I see is women are spiritually beating the fuck out of men. Spiritually. You are ripping our fucking hearts apart. Our minds and our hearts. You're playing games. Well, I say these days, I think that probably happened more so in recent years. I think these days it's actually I can't say it's balanced between the two, but it's much more balanced than it used to be. It's kind of like men and women are spiritually, emotionally, and mentally abusing each other. Men were not able to physically abuse anymore. We got away from that, but now because of that, they learn to mentally and emotionally abuse women. And women have been, y'all act like men beat women back in the day, but I promise you, women back in the day also spiritually, mentally, and emotionally tore men apart, dude. A man is not going to beat on his wife just for no reason. he's doing that is because he's probably emasculated. He doesn't feel like a man for some reason or another. You women need to understand that. A man needs to feel like a man. He needs to be respected as a man. You know, y'all get these goddamn big heads and shit. You get in this damn energy where you think you wear the fucking pants and you do whatever the fuck you want to do, and he's just supposed to take it and be okay with it and provide for you and just do everything proper as a man. But you're not. You think that you don't have to do things proper as a woman. It don't work like that. Ladies, it doesn't work like that. And men are waking the fuck up. We're not putting up with y'all shit anymore. You know what we're doing? Bye, honey. Bye. I got in 3 physical confrontations with my ex. And every single one of them, she initiated the physical contact or attack, or, you know. We'd be yelling and hollering, okay. I can yell and holler all day long without ever fucking raising a fist to you. I can, or if I get tired of it. I got tired of it one day, and that's why I told her, I was like, you know, I'm sick of this. Either quit goddamn arguing with me or get out the fucking door, get out the house. And she didn't even shut up. She didn't fucking miss a beat, man. She just kept on goddamn running her mouth. And I said, all right, get out the fucking door, open the door. And then she looked at me like all pissed off, and she went out the door. I mean, I don't know. All 3 physical confrontations we had, I never hit her because I didn't even do that with men. I've been in fights with men throughout my life. I never beat on men. I may hit one time or whatever is necessary. That's about it. Whatever is necessary to gain control of the situation. Well, with my ex, I grabbed her and I put her on the bed one time, the first time. I told her, I was like, this shit ain't gonna fucking happen. Yeah, I grabbed her on the shoulders or whatever and fucking put her on the bed. Like, this shit ain't happening with me. The next time, I put her on the couch. I always put her on something soft. And when I put her on the couch, I fucking, goddamn, her head smacked the counter. The couch kind of set up underneath a little counter, and her head smacked the counter, and I felt, that was bad. I felt like shit, buddy. I felt like shit for that one. Just smacked the damn counter pretty hard. But goddamn, I don't know. She picked a footstool up and wanted to fucking sling it at me, and you know, she wanted to start some bullshit. I don't know what's up with you women. Y'all think that you can start some bullshit with a man and then he's not going to do nothing. I don't know. I'm not 6'5", 240 pounds. Okay? You start some shit with me and I can't stand there and let you beat him. I'm not going to stand there and let you beat him. I don't care how fucking big a man is. He's an idiot. Stand there and let a woman fucking disrespect him. Of course, if he's big enough, all he's got to do is just look at her and laugh. You know, I'm not big like that. I can't do that. I don't have those abilities. I'm 5'5.5", buddy, like 140 fucking pounds. So you go physically threatening me, and I'm just going to shut your ass down. The third time, she literally was supposed to be getting her shit and getting out of the house, and she wasn't doing it. So I proceeded to help her out, and I was an asshole about it. I wasn't in a good mood. So I started tossing her clothes. I started putting all her shit in bags and tossing it in a pile. Nothing that was fragile. I wasn't breaking none of her shit. I was just tossing clothes. All of it was soft stuff. And I wasn't scattering it. I was literally packing it up or whatever. Kind of nicely, actually. I was mad, but very orderly. And tossing it out in a pile. And she was mad because I was doing that. Because I was getting her shit and just sending her out the door. And buddy, she was pissed off about it. She was in here just moping and crying and like she didn't want to go. But she didn't tell me she didn't want to go. So that was a problem. She never learned to open her damn mouth and communicate. She'd tell me to stop throwing her stuff. I said, no, get your stuff. I'm not hurting nothing. Get it and get out the door. No, she didn't do that. She proceeded to come at me like with a goddamn fist like she was going to hit me. I was like, okay. Grabbed her again. Had a mattress leaned up against the wall. Grabbed her, shoved her against the mattress, and shoved her down on the floor. And put my head my hand on her head, bent her fucking head down. I had her head bent down on her chest, and I didn't know it, but where she was squatted on the floor, I had her squatted down. I guess her knee was on her cheek, and she ended up with a bruised cheek afterwards. She's fucking tough. Didn't hurt her. Goddamn, I've had goddamn knocks on my head, bruises, all kinds of shit. Was it nice? No, I'm not saying it was nice. I'm not saying I enjoyed that or it was a good situation. Women, ladies, y'all are okay. Y'all can handle a little bruise now and then, especially if you're gonna come fighting with men. You damn sure better expect some fucking bruises or something. You know, that's ignorance. Don't do that. Don't do that. So, and I had a lot to learn. I had a lot to learn on how to handle and deal and work with women. Because, see, back then, I had never experienced my own vulnerability. This is something that genuinely takes men much, much longer to experience in life than it does women. Men used to be, they didn't experience vulnerability till they got in their older ages. Well, it depends. If they were raised properly, they were taught about their vulnerabilities. And, you know, godly men, even old-timey men, they understood a woman's vulnerability that she carried around with her. And because they understood their own vulnerabilities and stuff. But men these days, we kind of lost sight of God. Which is why all this chaos and a lot of this shit's happening in the country. Men and women aren't staying together. Men don't know how to treat a woman properly. Because they don't know how to treat themselves properly, to respect their own feminine side, their own vulnerability. It doesn't mean you have to be a feminine man to recognize your own feminine side, your own vulnerabilities and weaknesses, okay? That does not make you a feminine man. That makes you honest with yourself. That means you know yourself and who you are. If you don't know your own weaknesses and care for them properly, they're probably going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. I guess I learned that shit the hard fucking way. I never fell in love before, and then my ex left me, and I seen her with another man, and that boy, yeah. My fucking heart exploded, buddy. So pure devastation, chaos, and pain and suffering come upon me. And I experienced my vulnerability. I've been vulnerable many times in life, but this is different. This is like a train wreck. Like I was immobilized, spiritually immobilized, not able to think clearly, not able to concentrate or focus, or just pure, my emotions and my mind were just pure fucking chaos and disaster. And it has taken me over a year, and I'm still putting myself back together from it. So I could blame her, or I could take responsibility for myself and my actions and my ignorance, my own ignorance. If I would have been a better, stronger man, let's say, even if me and her weren't right for each other, I would have been able to cut the cord. I would have been able to cut the cord and cut our relationship out without going through all that damaging and ripping and tearing and that disaster that we went through. Okay. But I was ignorant. I didn't have an understanding of what the fuck was going on. I didn't have a good, clean, sharp knowledge and wits of the situation to cut clean through it. I was like using a fucking rock to do goddamn surgery with, you know, or just ripping shit out. It ripped us apart. So, like spiritually, physically, we united, just like the Bible says. And a man and woman get together and they get married, they unite. Well, I spiritually married her. Like our thoughts were in sync with each other, our hearts beat together, and she got shit in her eye, and my eye would hurt, and there was a spiritual, which is a physical. There's a physical connection amongst two lovers that cannot be seen, but it can be felt and experienced. Kind of hurt. Oh, I'm sitting on my damn foot wrong here. And then that was so then everything went to shit, and it was like ripping and tearing us apart. It did me. I don't know how she fared through the whole thing. That's her story. I don't know, but I know how I fared through it, and it was disaster. So, but anyways, I don't know how we're going to bring. I'll tell you how we're going to bring definition back in life, bring law and order back in life. We're going to have to do it through intuitive feeling. We're not going to be able to do it through visual, through defining words with a fucking a dictionary, or through defining a situation with what we see with our eyes. We're going to have to learn to open our hearts, open our third eye, open our minds, and be able to assess a situation with our minds and our hearts. Okay, so the feelings that we're getting off of everybody, off the entire situation, and the thoughts, the mental clarity and judgment. What's the word I'm looking for? Mental clarity. If you have mental clarity, that is going to allow you righteous, godly judgment of a situation. Proper judgment. I don't mean like as a judgment as in you cast a judgment onto somebody and condemn them. I mean a judgment as in an assessment. You assess the situation and you see what's going on. Okay, this is what the Bible teaches us to do. So this is not impossible. This is not something that is make-believe or made up. This is very real. People have these abilities. That's why God appointed judges in the beginning. There's actually a book in the Bible called Judges. God appointed judges to people. These people had these abilities, these intuitive abilities to see and think clearly and feel the truth and the lies in situations. That's how judges are supposed to be. That is not how our judges in this fucking country work and operate. That's not how people in this country work and operate. We are godless. We have fallen away from God and fallen into the world. So we use these two eyes and these two ears to assess situations and place judgments or legislation, make legislations. But we're not using our heart. We're not using our minds properly. We're not opening. They're closed off. We're dark inside. A lot of people are, and a lot aren't, but a lot are. Most are. That's how our country is running and operating. So most people are shallow, ignorant, dark, closed-minded. They see a situation with their eyes, and they just cast ignorant judgment on it without ever actually digging into the depths of it, getting a feel for it. And when you connect to yourself, when you get connected with your heart and your mind and everything with God, you can just nearly instantly get a proper a reading and an assessment off of any situation, and you can feel the truth and what's going on. And see, the problem with that is that you can't take that into a court of law. That doesn't hold up in a court of law. You can't walk into a courtroom and say, "Oh, I can feel the truth. I just know it in my heart." They don't take that into account in a court of law, even though it's in this book. It's in Revelations in this book, and that is the book that they will tell you to swear upon, even though the book tells you not to swear upon things. So, all right, here we are, right at an hour, man. That was good. That was really good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Hope you enjoyed it, y'all. whoever y'all are. I gotta come up with a name. I do some weird shit. Oh, boys! Let's go down. Let's go down. Down to the river and pray. I don't know what song that is. I feel like I'm mixing up two songs there. Y'all let me come up with a name for myself here. Throw some shit at me. Oh, a lot of y'all are probably gonna be idiots. Throw some dumb shit at me. That's alright. I know I ain't got no teeth. Probably sound funny. Look goofy. Hey, whatever. I've heard it all throughout my life. I need to come up with I need a name. I need God to send me a name. It's hard to really put yourself out there when you ain't got no name. Got me old Bear Homes and Gardens watermelon rosemary candle. Oh, buddy, I like some candles. See, I got a feminine side, buddy. Oh, that's got one. I got a feminine side. I like the sweet, sensual sides of life. Got a good, strong, masculine side, too, though. My home's a safe environment, provided that you respect me and my home. If you don't, ultimately your safety is in your own hands. Like, don't come threatening me in my life or something, because if you're threatening me in my life, you're threatening yourself in your own life. I consider myself consider other people a reflection of me. That means I'm a reflection of you, of them. So if they come and their energy is threatening toward me, they are probably going to get a threatening energy back from me. Or a defensive energy at the least. Okay. I'm not one that's quick to attack. I will defend myself. So, I don't know. That's stupid. I don't even know why I'm talking about that. My home is a safe. I provide a masculine environment. Okay, a protected environment. Does that mean that anybody's safe to do whatever they want to do? Fuck no, it doesn't. Life don't work like that. It don't work like that anywhere you go. If you think that's the way it's supposed to be, then you're fucked up. You're wrong. These safe spaces. Hey, I agree. A safe space is good for healing and good things. We need safe spaces, but you can't just create a safe space just any old fucking where you want to. You can't. Public is not a safe space. That's not a safe space for you. Public is public, honey. You're open to everything. People are free to do as they please in public. No matter what the law says. Somebody wants to carry a gun around and shoot people. Happens quite a lot. So your safe space should be like your home, your own personal space and everything. And even there, you should not totally drop your guard. I don't know. It depends. What do you have people around you that you can trust, or whatever? You're always taking a risk, but that's okay. Life is a risk. There's always risk, so do what you got to do. It's just what I guess what I was getting at. We blow the safe spaces. We blew that shit way the fuck out of proportion there. We become too overly sensitive about things. I did. I know I did. I become too fucking sensitive about a lot of shit. Could I help it? Not really. Didn't really have. Couldn't help it, man. I was fucking broken and battered and fucked up. I was vulnerable. I was sensitive. You know, like literally, imagine somebody being in a full body cast. Their whole body is vulnerable. They just got in a train wreck or something, and lots of broken bones and stuff. You know, you don't want to go poking and prodding at them and shit. They're in a lot of pain, man. They're in a very, very vulnerable place in life. So that's where I was at spiritually. And a lot of people are like that these days. So we do need to have awareness. We need to have awareness of this. As another reason it is so highly important to be able to intuitively, to have that intuition, to be able to feel into a situation, to feel the energy coming off of people, to have a clear mind and be able to see and assess a situation clearly with your mind, because that will allow you to recognize who is vulnerable and who's not, and how to deal with them appropriately. Okay? You know, if you don't have the ability to recognize when somebody's vulnerable, you may go in there and chop at them and treat them as if they are a completely wholesome, strong person. And what you're going to do is you're going to fuck them up. They're already fucked up, and so you're kicking them while they're down. You're trying to make the situation better, trying to teach them or something, but you're not teaching them properly. You're not helping them at all. You're hurting them. So it is absolutely inevitable, if you want to live life properly, do things right, it's necessary to have that ability to be able to feel into the energy and stuff. If you don't have that ability, you should know that. It's just part of knowing yourself. Know thyself. And that's it. I'm gonna get off here. I done run past an hour here, so hour, 6 minutes and 54 seconds. I don't know. I enjoyed talking this evening here. I didn't know if I was going to make videos again, but I went up and talked to that woman, and she said that she really enjoyed my video. She didn't like the cussing so much, but she really enjoyed my video and what I had to say. So that really helped motivate me again, because I really don't have many people watching at all, like anybody. Or that's a lot of my fault. Oh, that's my fault. I don't have no damn name for myself. I ain't doing podcasts. I'm just making YouTube videos. Not a lot of advertisement. I don't talk to many people to tell them to watch. I don't live in a city or something. Yeah. I don't know. Y'all be good. Take care. I love you. I was going to call her for y'all. Next time I'll call her. I was wanting to call her. Just draw and do some little arts and crafts here while I talk. I'll do that next time. Why? Just because that's going to help me to get my brain and my body working together. I've talked about that with y'all before. So, love y'all. Be good. See you next time.